The forest was serene, its dense canopy filtering sunlight into scattered golden rays upon the soft earth below. Birds chirped melodiously, their tunes blending with the faint rustle of leaves swayed by a gentle breeze. The Buddha sat cross-legged beneath the sprawling Bodhi tree, his countenance calm, his eyes half closed in meditation. Disciples gathered around him in a semicircle, their expressions curious yet tranquil, awaiting his words of wisdom. His voice, gentle yet firm, resonated through the air like a steady stream carving through stone. In this age, unseen threads connect us across distance, he continued, but connection without mindfulness creates misunderstandings and discord. Ananda, a devoted disciple, leaned slightly forward, his gaze fixed upon the Buddha. Master, I hear the rustling leaves and the calls of birds, Ananda responded earnestly. The Buddha smiled faintly, his expression radiating warmth and understanding. The forest speaks, he said, in silence and sound, in harmony and discord, revealing truths about our own nature. The disciples listened intently, their breaths steadying, their minds focusing on the nuanced harmony of the natural surroundings. The forest mirrors the mind, the Buddha continued, his gaze lifting toward the canopy above. When restless, it is loud, chaotic, and filled with disturbances. A sudden gust rustled the leaves above, illustrating his point as the sound enveloped the gathering momentarily. But when still, the Buddha resumed, his voice unwavering. It reveals hidden clarity, subtle beauty, and profound truths. A young disciple, Rahula, shifted slightly, his voice tinged with curiosity. Master, how do we still the noise within, as the forest stills after a storm? The Buddha observed him kindly, his response measured and deliberate. Through mindfulness, Rahula, he said, and by embracing presence, observing without judgment, allowing disturbances to dissipate naturally. The disciples nodded, their focus turning inward as they practiced mindful listening. Following the Buddha's guidance, the forest's myriad sounds became a symphony, no longer fragmented noises but interconnected rhythms weaving a cohesive tale. He gestured toward a blooming lotus nearby, its purity a silent testament to his words. Choose your responses wisely, he advised, like a craftsman selecting tools. Each word should be measured and intentional. The Buddha, sensing their immersion, spoke again, his voice soft yet impactful. Listen not only with your ears but with your heart and mind. Another disciple, Kasyapa, asked, Master, how do we engage with others mindfully while honoring their words and our own thoughts equally? Kasyapa, engagement begins with humility. Meetings are not arenas of debate, but sanctuaries of shared purpose and interconnected intention. Indeed, Ananda, he replied, the forest teaches patience, adaptability, and the art of coexisting in harmony. He gestured toward a towering tree nearby, its branches reaching skyward, its roots firmly anchoring it into the earth. Observe this tree, the Buddha instructed, his hand outstretched gracefully. Though it sways in the wind, it does not uproot but bends, maintaining its integrity without resistance. The disciples studied the tree, its leaves shimmering under the dappled sunlight filtering through the canopy. Life presents us with winds of change, challenges, and uncertainties, the Buddha explained. Resist, and we risk breaking. Bend with grace, and we find resilience. The forest seemed to echo his teachings as if nature itself conspired to affirm his words. The disciples, now more attuned to their surroundings, noticed details previously obscured by their inner chatter. The disciples dispersed, their faces glowing with newfound resolve, their spirits buoyed by the clarity of his teachings. As I walked away, I felt a deep sense of gratitude, his words echoing in my soul like a timeless mantra. He paused, allowing the weight of his words to settle, giving his disciples time to ponder and internalize the lesson. So it is with life. Our strength lies not in isolation but in recognizing our bond with all existence. Buddha's gaze was serene, his presence like the stillness of a mountain lake at dawn. Chandra stepped forward, her voice hesitant but steady. Kasyapa, he said, life teaches through experience, through quiet observation and embracing what unfolds. As evening descended, casting long shadows across the grove, the Buddha led the disciples to a nearby stream. The water flowed gently, its surface reflecting the emerging stars. Creating another day, the disciples found themselves gathered in the heart of the forest, where an ancient tree stood tall and serene. Its roots spread wide and deep, breaking through the earth, intertwining with the ground like veins of life. The Buddha walked toward the tree, his steps measured, his gaze fixed upon its majestic presence. The disciples watched as he knelt beside the roots, his hand resting gently on the coarse bark exposed to air. Observe this tree, the Buddha began, his voice calm and deliberate, carrying a tone of reverence and reflection. Its branches stretch skyward, seeking sunlight, but its strength lies in the roots reaching deep into the earth. Ananda, kneeling nearby, asked softly, Master, what do the roots teach us about ourselves and the way we live? The Buddha smiled faintly, his hand tracing the rough texture of the root beneath him. The roots reflect our actions, thoughts, and intentions, he said, feeding the tree of our existence, determining whether we thrive or falter. Rahula, with curiosity alight in his eyes, added, Master, what happens when the roots are shallow or exposed to harm? The Buddha's gaze shifted, his fingers pressing into the soil where the roots delved deeper into the earth. A tree with shallow roots cannot withstand storms, he replied, and roots poisoned by ignorance wither, weakening the entire being. The disciples nodded thoughtfully, their eyes fixed on the roots sprawling outward, some visible, others hidden beneath the soil. Our lives are no different, the Buddha continued, his tone resolute yet gentle. Nourish your roots with kindness, humility, and wisdom, and they will anchor you firmly. Kasyapa, the elder disciple, bowed his head slightly before speaking. Master, how do we protect our roots from anger, greed, and ignorance? He asked earnestly. The Buddha straightened, his posture calm but purposeful, his hands resting on his knees. When harm is caused, Buddha added, acknowledge it with humility and strive to restore harmony with sincerity and compassion. Chandra asked again, her voice steady but curious. The forest seemed alive with the rhythm of his teachings, its ambiance complementing the wisdom shared among those gathered. Consider the roots beneath this tree, the Buddha spoke again, his voice flowing like the gentle stream nearby. They connect with the soil, drawing sustenance, while offering stability to the towering structure above. The disciples observed closely, seeing the intricate patterns of roots weaving their way into the ground. Ananda raised a question, his voice steady but inquisitive. Master, do roots ever conflict with one another, fighting for space or nourishment? The Buddha met his gaze with an expression of quiet wisdom. Roots intertwine, he said, not to conflict, but to share strength, supporting the balance of the tree. Rahula leaned forward, his hands resting lightly on his thighs. Does this interconnectedness extend beyond the tree itself? He asked. The Buddha nodded, gesturing toward the undergrowth enveloping the area. It extends to the entire forest, he replied. For every root contributes to the equilibrium of life. The disciples gazed around them, observing the network of trees, shrubs, and vines coexisting, their roots sharing the soil's richness. Interconnectedness is the essence of existence, the Buddha elaborated, his tone reflective yet firm. Recognize your bond with others, and you nurture harmony within and beyond yourself. Kasyapa offered a thought of his own, his voice resonating with contemplation. Master, This forest seems to embody the unity you describe, thriving through mutual support. The Buddha smiled, his eyes alight with understanding. Yes, Kasyapa, he said, and so must we strive to embody such unity in our lives. Devadatta stepped forward hesitantly, his voice filled with concern and self-doubt. Master, he said, many people craft illusions of themselves, seeking admiration and praise. They arrived at a young sapling, its roots shallow, its branches sparse, but its leaves vibrant with life. Observe this sapling, the Buddha said, kneeling beside the fragile tree. It has yet to grow strong roots, yet it reaches toward the sky with resolve. The disciples circled the sapling, noting its youthful energy and its vulnerability amidst the grandeur of older trees. The sapling teaches resilience in its aspiration, the Buddha continued, his tone conveying both admiration and caution. But its survival depends on nurturing the soil and protecting its roots. Ananda observed closely, his brow furrowed in thought. Master, how do we nurture and protect our roots during the early stages of growth? The Buddha's hand rested on the soil surrounding the sapling's base, his expression serene yet focused. Through mindful care, he said, ensuring nourishment flows from the soil, sunlight reaches the leaves, and storms are weathered with patience. The disciples absorbed his guidance, their thoughts drifting to their own lives and aspirations, drawing parallels to the sapling's journey. As twilight descended, the Buddha led the disciples back to the ancient tree, its roots illuminated by the fading light. He gestured toward the intertwined roots, their patterns intricate yet harmonious, blending seamlessly with the earth's fabric. The tree teaches us the importance of grounding ourselves, the Buddha said, his voice echoing softly amidst the settling quiet of the forest. It stands tall not in isolation, but through connection, drawing strength from the life surrounding it. Rahula spoke again, his tone imbued with wonder and curiosity. Master, does the tree ever falter in its bond with the earth? The Buddha glanced at the young disciple, his gaze kind but firm. The bond weakens only through neglect, he replied, but thrives when nurtured with awareness and care. The disciples reflected deeply, their hearts stirred by the wisdom imparted, their minds filled with images of roots anchoring their lives. Master, how do we resist the pull of vanity and the desire for admiration? Buddha's expression softened, his gaze resting on Devadatta. Vanity is like a shadow, he said. It disappears when faced with the light of self-awareness and humility. They remind us that growth requires depth, and strength comes from interconnectedness. The disciples bowed their heads in gratitude, their spirits enriched, their resolve strengthened by the lessons of the day. The forest, timeless and alive, bore witness to the wisdom shared, embracing the cycle of teaching and learning that unfolded beneath its canopy. Another day, the disciples found themselves by a tranquil pond, its surface shimmering under the warm glow of morning light. A single lotus bloomed amidst the still waters, its petals unfurling in delicate layers, untouched by the surrounding mud. The Buddha stood at the pond's edge, his gaze fixed upon the flower, his presence calm and reflective. He turned to the disciples, his voice serene yet clear. Observe the lotus, he said, his tone carrying quiet reverence. It rises from the mud, untainted, and reaches toward the sky, embodying purity amidst imperfection. The disciples gathered closer, their eyes drawn to the flower's beauty, their minds eager to grasp its significance. Rahula spoke first, his voice tinged with curiosity. Master, what does the lotus teach us about the way we should live? The Buddha smiled faintly, his expression imbued with patience and understanding. The lotus teaches resilience and transformation, he replied, rising above the difficulties of life without clinging to despair or attachment. The disciples nodded thoughtfully, their gaze alternating between the lotus and the Buddha's serene countenance. The pond's surface reflected their images, rippling gently as a soft breeze passed. The Buddha continued, his voice steady and profound. Life emerges from challenges, as the lotus emerges from the mud, yet it remains unsoiled by its origins. Ananda, his brow furrowed in contemplation, asked, Master, does the lotus ever return to the mud when it withers and dies? The Buddha's gaze softened as he regarded the questioning disciple. Indeed, Ananda, he said, the lotus returns to the mud, completing the cycle of life and renewal. The disciples exchanged glances, their thoughts echoing the profound truth of impermanence the Buddha had imparted. The lotus swayed gently in the breeze, a silent witness to their reflection. The cycle, the Buddha elaborated, is neither good nor bad but simply the way, a rhythm we must learn to embrace. Kasyapa, ever thoughtful, offered his perspective. Master, the lotus seems to find beauty and purpose even in the mud. Is there beauty in challenges? The Buddha inclined his head slightly, his acknowledgement carrying quiet affirmation. Challenges, he said, are the soil in which wisdom grows, the foundation of transformation and clarity. His words resonated deeply, their simplicity carrying the profound wisdom of countless lifetimes. The villagers bowed in unison, their gratitude a silent prayer, their unity a testament to the Buddha's teaching. Cling not to the bloom, the Buddha said, his tone deliberate yet gentle, nor despise the mud, for both are necessary. The disciples closed their eyes briefly, the weight of the words settling within them, stirring thoughts of acceptance and harmony. Rahula ventured another question, his voice steady but tinged with humility. Master, how do we rise above the mud without becoming tainted by it? The Buddha looked at him, his expression a blend of compassion and quiet assurance. Through mindfulness and right intention, he answered, allowing clarity to guide you and compassion to ground you. The pond reflected the sky, its vast expanse symbolizing the openness of their minds as they absorbed the wisdom offered. The Buddha gestured toward the surrounding forest, its trees towering over the scene like silent guardians of the teachings. The lotus rises not alone, he observed, but within the ecosystem of the pond, supported by the water and the earth. Ananda's voice carried a note of realization. Master, does this mean that we too are supported by others in our journey toward growth? The Buddha nodded, his smile faint but resonant. Indeed, Ananda, he said, for life is interconnected, and our strength lies in recognizing our bonds. The disciples felt a renewed sense of unity, both among themselves and with the natural world surrounding them. The pond, the lotus, and the forest seemed to hum in quiet harmony, affirming the truths spoken. Each of you, the Buddha said, his voice soft but steady, is like the lotus, capable of rising, flourishing, and contributing beauty to the world. The disciples bowed their heads, their hearts swelling with gratitude and resolve, their spirits uplifted by the teachings of the day. The Buddha stood, his gaze lingering on the lotus, a symbol of the wisdom and purity within all. As the sun ascended higher, casting its golden light across the pond, the disciples meditated in silence, their reflections merging with the still waters and the timeless rhythm of the lotus's bloom. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.